Hello and welcome to your own channel. Let's talk business once again. As always, I'm excited to have you here. Today we are going to talk about an important development with respect to the Lloyd modernization program. Today in this short video presentation, we will talk about the important and interesting pilot project, or which we can also say proof of concept project, through which Lloyds is trying to validate the idea of automating small claim. The pilot is called as Small Claim Auto Settlement, or SCAS. I'm slightly late in recording this session because this project is already undergoing. So I should have recorded this project early, but still this project holds a lot of relevance when we talk about the modernization. So I thought to cover it up now. So as always, there is a lot to know and lot to discuss. So without waiting more, let's start talking business. So for those who are new to my channel, I am Ravi Shankar. I am having more than 16 years of experience in business analysis, largely associated with P&C and general insurance domain, currently practicing in Lloyd. And if you have any queries related to this video presentations or my previous video presentation, do reach me out at my Hotmail email ID. You can also connect me through LinkedIn profile, and I'm also available on Twitter. So once again, thanks a lot for all your emails or your suggestions. I really love them all. So let's move ahead. So now before getting into the SAS, I would like your attention to understand the context first so that you can understand the bigger picture. So in Blueprint 1, the Lloyds talk about the solution which will help them to modernize various business processes within the Lloyds, like complex risk platform, Lloyd Risk Exchange, capital solutions, syndicate in a box, service hub, and claim solution. So let's talk about the claim solution specifically. Well, in this, they have conceptualized a very efficient claim solution that will transform the claim process by automating simple claims using straight-through processing, resolving standard claim handling on behalf of the market, and empowering lead underwriter to handle most complex claims. They want to deliver a better claim handling experience, which will make it easier for customer to track their claim and speed up the claim payment. This entire effort is to give the better experience to the customer and reduce the turnaround time and release time and effort which is being utilized to manage the small claim. Now, they also highlighted some of the key functionality in the claim solution that includes a dedicated interface, accurate and intelligent triaging system, which will route the claim on one of three handling process like STP, non-complex and complex. They also talk about the smart workflow, automated straight-through processing, market claim services, great empowerment of lead and write, etc. Now, I want you to focus on the points and pay attention to the smart workflow and automated STP, straight through processing. Now, the SAS pilot, which I also called POC earlier, is the effort to address these 2 points largely. In next few slides, I will explain you how SAS is going to address these 2 points. So before that, I would like to show some more stats just to refine the context furthermore. Now, this data is about the claim processed between 2016 and 2018, and I pulled out this data from the Blueprint 1 report. Now, if you can see over here, this 48% of the claim is less than £5,000. So if you can see over here, approximately 48% of the open market and reinsurance claim closed between 2016 and 18 were 5,000 or below. And that account collectively less than 1% of the total indemnity value. So if you can see over here, that is like 1%, 48 to just 1%. Now, if you can see on the other side, the 3% of the claim which is more than 1 million plus pound is actually contributing the 66% of the indemnity settled between 2016 and 2018. So now you can see the variation over here. So market is spending too much of time in managing the small claims So I can say that the high volume small claims, that is just 1% of the total indemnity settled. So definitely this area required a lot of attention so that we can free up some time from here and spend more time in processing the areas or claim which is slightly higher in value. So let's move ahead and let's see how the SAS or SACS, a small auto claim settlement, is helping in this area. SAS started on 11th May 2020. SAS is a 6-month pilot project, and the pilot is aimed to demonstrate the tremendous efficiency in settlement of simple and standard claim by reducing the need of human review. As I said earlier, so what is going to happen over here is it will help to improve the customer and broker experience through a faster claim settlement cycle. Secondly, it will also help to reduce the transactional agreement time frames. The third point is about the SAS, which will help to reduce the claim handler touch point for better efficiency. And finally, it will help to free up the time of claim handler and managing agent to focus on the higher value, more complex claim rather than managing smaller claims. Now, though the objective of SAS is very clear, but to be successful, the participant must ensure the accurate triaging and retriaging of claims. Participant must ensure the operational oversight of the transaction by reviewing daily report and peer reviews of the automatically agreed claim. And finally, they must provide the consistent feedback to the SAS project team so that they can refine the project or POC in a way that will make a lot of sense and deliver a lot of value to the key stakeholders. Now let's talk about the scope of SAS pilot project. So SAS is using ECF's utility called auto responded to automatically process the transactions once the broker has released the transaction in class and ECF. I have already covered in my previous presentation, so you can click on the information bar icon to have more information about class and ECF. So there are certain criteria which must be met before automatic settlement. So the first criteria is about the LOB, the line of business. So in order to trigger the ECF autoresponder process, the claim belongs to marine cargo, marine hull, accident and health, and then property D and F, direct and facultative. So this is about the LOB. Now they have the additional criteria in order to trigger the automatic settlement. So the first one is about the settlement transaction must be under 10K or less, and they belongs to the Lloyds bureau share. Now the second important point is the settlement start, the automated settlement start from transaction 3 onward for open claim, where the triaging is mentioned as standard. I will explain you shortly why it is from transaction 3 onward, why not from transaction 1 onward. Settlement where the incurred has not been adjusted from the prior transactions, and finally the transaction should be indemnity settlement. SAS is not applied to the fees, but they applied for the defense cost. So you might be thinking like, okay, fine, LMA is developing something which will settle the claim automatically. That's cool. But what if the ECF autoresponder settled an invalid claim? Now, in order to prevent and manage the financial risk for pilot participant, there are numbers of measures are considered. Now in next slide, we will see who are participating in pilot and how the financial risks are being managed during the pilot project. Now if you can see over here, these are the managing agent who are participating in SAS pilot project. So you can see here the Markel Syndicate Management Limited, you can see Brait Syndicate Limited, Beasley for Long Limited is here, MS Emlyn Underwriting Limited, Traveller Syndicate Management Limited, SL Catlin Underwriting Agencies Limited, and they will be getting a report twice in a day just to understand the system issue if any, and this will also help them to trigger an escalation process if required. The report will also help them to prevent any wrong automatic payment. Now, additionally, the peer review process is also in place for each pilot managing agent to ensure the confidence in the pilot processes. And finally, they have also a detailed guideline on how to settle claim when it is taking the automatic settlement route. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about the process, how the claim is going to get processed. So here is the swim lane diagram. So you can see over here all the key participants. We have broker, we have SaaS engine, lead, and XCS bureau. The process starts from the broker when it create and release the transaction first in the class system. Now, in order to avoid the incorrect financial being queried at the DXCTP stage, broker must ensure that these transactions are correct and these transactions are having all the necessary information which will require the claim to be processed automatically. So the first transaction will go the normal conventional route and it will come to lead in order to do the triaging, right? And then if once the triaging is done, then it will go to the manually agree claim transaction, and then it will process go into the bureau, XCS bureau, in order to create the XCS entry, perform various standards check, release class entries, and then agree the claim. The same goes to the transaction 2 also. Now when it comes to the transaction 3, which is very special, from here the system will trigger the SaaS engine. Now why 3? This is the question. Why transaction 3 onward? Now, there was a study conducted in 2016 and 17, and through that study, it was revealed that 74%, I can quote here again, the 74% of the claim which is settled was 2.5k and less is from transaction 3 onward, right? So 74% of the claim is being settled which is under 2.5k is from transaction 3 onward. So in a way that they understood that transaction 1 and 2 will help lead to understand the claim, and transaction 3 is the point from where the system will trigger the SaaS engine in order to do the automatic settlement. So say for example, the broker is releasing transaction 3, it will come to the SaaS engine. SaaS engine will check whether the transaction fall under the scope of SaaS. If yes, the claim transaction agreed automatically and it will go for the further check. And if everything goes fine and is successful, then it will bypass the lead. So if you can see over here, it will bypass the lead and it will straight away come into the XIS bureau where they will create the XCS class entries, perform various check, release the class transaction entry, and agree the claim transactions. Now they have a dedicated TP team for the SaaS related claims, and they have standard SLA of 48 hours. Now the DXC, the team who is going to perform their own sanction check as they do today, and DXC will query back to the lead on any transaction they would ordinarily query as a part of the TP process. So far, I guess, or last July, they got 35 plus successful transaction which processed successfully, and 100 plus got failed. But that's okay. If the transaction is getting failed, this means that the SaaS engine is working fine and they are processing the claim in a way that they should process the claim. Going ahead. Now, there are some exclusion also within the scope of the pilot, and some of them are the LIRMA and ILU claim transaction are out of scope, proportional treaty business are out of scope, binding authority claims, advice without settlement, the claims transaction where the category is complex and CTB complex, the EEA claim for syndicate number beginning with 5, and there are few more which are the standard exclusion when it comes to the SaaS engine. Now let's talk about some of the key success criteria. Now they really wanted to reduce the processing step and query across the transaction lifecycle. Here they wanted to have all the claim falling under the SaaS criteria should be go through a SaaS engine which will automatically settle the claim. Second important point is about improved speed of settlement. Here they are targeting reduction of time by 10%. Third is about saved claim adjusters time versus increased claim overheads. And the fourth important point is about the improved system performance. So, well, that's all from today's video presentation. I hope you have gained some knowledge from today's session. Thanks a lot for your time. Goodbye and take very good care of yourself. Bye bye, and I will see you soon in next video presentation.